Here is Kirkland's Backstroke. As we see him get set up, the one thing that we didn't utilize on our start to camp was a touchpad for backstroke. So whenever you do a backstroke start, make sure that you are putting your toes right underneath the surface and about shoulder width apart. That way you're going to be able to push more back onto the wall instead of down. That'll help get you up and over the water and getting you out a lot further. So since we've got the metal band around the wall for about the top 6 inches, you got to set your feet up a little bit lower, so that's going to actually hurt the start just a little bit. So get those toes up higher when you've got a pad and don't have that metal bar around the gutter. Do a pretty good job of getting those highs back so that you can get that back arched. As you go forward a little bit more, you've got kind of just the upward beat of that kick, so everything's happening either at your knee or just below. So make sure you're getting both the upbeat as well as the downbeat, and make sure that you're kicking at equal heights above and below your hips. That's going to give you a much stronger dolphin kick. I know as we went through the backstroke swimming portion of Tuesday morning, we ended up being able to swim with a much better backstroke. The one thing that's really going to help you is doing a lot more side kicking to work on that kick for your backstroke. It's also going to help you kick on your freestyle. But we did work on those arm positions so that you're not out nearly as wide. You did have kind of that positioning of 11 and 1 o'clock with your arms. We want to make sure that those are almost right above our shoulders, so that's going to give you a much longer reach out in front of you. You did a pretty good job of keeping that head still, getting around that turn fairly decently, and you're breaking out inside the flags. We want to make sure that you are getting out past the flags, trying to just almost make that happen every time you push off the wall. As we see, you do have a good rhythm with your arms going on, but you're not really getting as much as we can. You'll be able to see it underneath the water how much we need to really work on bending those arms. As we see you come in for the finish here, you're kind of in the I don't want to hurt my head as I'm going for that finish. So make sure you're a little more confident in your stroke count for your finish. That way you're going to be able to finish with that straight arm and possibly throwing in that little bit of a dolphin kick to help excel you right into that finish. Nice job. Here is Kirkland's backstroke underwater. Normally when we'd start, if we had a touchpad in, I would definitely set it so that your toes are right underneath the surface. That's going to get your body's starting point much higher, so you're going to be able to put more emphasis into pushing back on the wall, versus right now you're having to put a lot of emphasis down and back so that you can get your body to get up and out of that water. See, coming in, very weak streamline. Got to get those hands on top of one another, got to line up those wrists, got to line up those forearms, and make sure your arms are nice and tight on the back sides of those ears. That way we can help you go forward. You're getting into that streamline a little bit more as we're going through. Your hands are pointing down a little bit. Make sure that top or that bottom hand of your streamline is actually the one that's going to go straight forward. So make sure that's good in line with your forearm, and then the hand that's on top, which technically here on backstroke is on the bottom, is going to have a little bit of, in this scenario, an upward angle, whereas normally on your freestyle butterfly and breaststroke, it's going to have a little bit of a downward angle. As we watch those dolphin kicks, doing a pretty good job of trying to get some force into them. You look like you're spending a lot more effort into the up kick versus that down kick. So make sure you're getting both directions of the kick. Make sure you are working on trying to get those hips involved. As we watch your arm pull, you are pretty much pulling just with arms straight out to the side. Got to remember that as your arms and your hands get further away from your sides, you're going to have a much harder time trying to actually pull through the water, and you're not nearly as strong. So as soon as that arm enters the water up at this point in time, it's going to dig down in the water a little bit more. What's going to also help that is by getting a little bit more body rotation. And then once you get to that deepest spot that you can reach, think about pushing the water straight back behind you. As you get closer to that finish of the stroke, you're going to end up rotating onto the other side, so then the finish of your backstroke pull is going to be much closer to the surface, so that's going to make for a very easy recovery. So watch you go for the turn here. You see you get rolled over, get around, doing a pretty good job. I'd like to see you work on trying to really extend how far underneath the water you go. With the kick we've got going on here, you've got kind of a weak kick. We do need to spend a little bit more time either kicking on your back or doing some side kicking to be able to really work on that kick and make it much stronger for you. If we work on it for backstroke, it's also going to help you on freestyle. You work on it for freestyle, it's also going to help you on backstroke. So you go in for the finish here, getting a little bit of that dolphin kick for that explosive movement there at the end. I'd like to see you maybe try that just a little bit sooner so that you can really get a good lunge for that wall. But make sure when you do that, you don't have a whole lot of up-down motion. We want to make it just real quick and very subtle line, but just a lot of speed exploding there at the end. Nice job.